Jayson Tatum outduels Kevin Durant. Boston Celtics beat the Brooklyn Nets. It was like a playoff game. It was like a playoff win. I am so excited. We're going to talk about it right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course, the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, keep John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. Thank you for making the show part of your daily routine and your first listen every single day. Thank you for doing so. I really do appreciate it. Locked On Celtics is free. It's available everywhere. So if you're new, you're not going to pay a thing for this show. You're just going to listen to a podcast that hits you Monday through Friday, everywhere podcasts exist, and on YouTube. Please watch the show on YouTube. Subscribe there. I'm John Karalis. I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I've written a book called The Boston Celtics All-Time All-Stars, and I was one of the media voters for the Celtics 75th anniversary team. Today's show is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. The game for the Boston Celtics started with a just back and forth that ended with Jayson Tatum having 54 points, 126-120. Celtics put on a show. Celtics and Nets put on a show. That was just an amazing game. That was so much fun. I'm sitting there, I'm working. I'm watching this game, I'm working. I'm trying to make notes and all this stuff. And at some point, I'm just like, all of a sudden, I just fold my arms and I'm just find myself leaning back and looking. And I'm like, oh my God, I just want to watch this game. I don't even want to write. I just want to sit here and be in this moment because it had everything. That really did feel like a playoff game. I'll talk more about that playoff type of atmosphere later on because that in the third segment, the Celtics turning things around and being frustrated at points of this game and still pulling through is amazing. And the coaching that went into this was amazing. I'll talk more about how the Celtics are better, even better than I thought I could have imagined. And maybe we have to recalibrate our expectations again. I'll get really more into the game, the individual performances, and the key moments in the second segment. But this first segment, I feel like I just want to take a few minutes to appreciate what this game really was, right? The Celtics, no team had a double-digit lead in this game. So the Celtics led by as many as 8. The Nets led by as many as 9. But there were 28 lead changes in this game, 19 ties. The place was electric. I was afraid that it was a 1:00 game and things were going to be a little sloppy. Nope. They came out. Maybe it was ABC. Maybe it was the fact that it was Brooklyn, and Brooklyn, they seemed to bring out the best in each other. This was a super fun afternoon. And I really want to just appreciate, listen to the Marcus Smart quote about how the ending of the game. He was like, oh man, Bedlam. First of all, great use of the word Bedlam. A state of uproar. That's exactly what it was. It was chaos. It was good chaos. It was a fun game, a fun 5 minutes to be a part of, a very competitive 5 minutes. As a competitor, that's what you live for. The last 5 minutes of this game, the back and forth was amazing. Kevin Durant is just ridiculous, right? Like Kevin Durant, you're watching him hit shots that he has no business hitting, and Tatum answering that one-on-one battle, Tatum and Durant. And the thing really is Tatum took that opportunity. He took the task to guard Durant. Durant wasn't really guarding Tatum a lot. Tatum guarded Durant. We got to give Jayson Tatum credit here. Now, a lot of people switched onto Durant. It wasn't just Tatum, but there were plenty of chances down the stretch where Tatum just squared up on Kevin Durant. Here's a guy that can very easily be like, you know what? I want a little bit of an easier assignment. put me on somebody else, Bruce Brown, whatever. But nope. When it came time for him to defend, he defends Kevin Durant and did as good a job as anybody could on Kevin Durant. Durant ends up going for 37. He has 8 assists, 6 rebounds, 12 of 21 shooting, which is amazing. 4 of 9 from 3, 9 of 10 from the line. So what a brilliant game from Durant, who is coming back from an injury, right? From a knee injury that was a scary knee injury. And not that long ago was dealing with a torn Achilles, and he's just as good as ever, man. He's just crazy. But there's Tatum, 16 of 30 from the field, 8 of 15 from 3, 53% from the field and from 3, 14 of 17 from the line, 17 free throws for Tatum, 54 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. And in all of that usage, just 2 turnovers, which is huge. The fourth quarter numbers for Tatum were just as spectacular. 18 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. So only 3 points came from beyond the arc. He was 4 of 5 from inside the arc, and he had 7 free throws. So 15 of the 18 points come from 2 or from the line. That's how you close a game. That's MVP level stuff. That's superstar level stuff from Jayson Tatum. That you just when they're chanting MVP when he's taking the free throw, that he earned those. Now, obviously, he won't be the MVP, but he earned those MVP chants. The atmosphere in that building was so great. This really felt like a playoff win. And why it felt like a playoff win was because you had 2 stars going at one another. You had some contributions from other guys, but really like 2 main guys. Even on a team like they've got Kyrie, Celtics have Jaylen Brown, but this was the 2 number ones going at each other. Defensive adjustments on the fly, just shot making like crazy, super intense, like somewhat chippy play, lots of frustration, and I've got to give credit. Like, okay, the officials didn't, they certainly, there were some calls there that were questionable. They, for a while there, felt like they were giving Kevin Durant like everything. They were calling everything early on. But as much as people complained, and both sides complained, and especially Tatum and especially Smart, I will say that they didn't hand out any texts that, they could have. They let these guys play through their emotions, and credit to the guys for as much as they were talking, they didn't cross those lines. So that could have been an uglier game if that kind of stuff started to happen. So it was just beautiful. The whole thing was wonderful to watch. I'm so glad that I was there to see that. But let's get into 3 key moments in this game and some of the great individual performances for the Boston Celtics. I will do that after I talk to you about Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar on the market. But it's not just Built Bar. They've got Built Puffs, which is like a protein-infused marshmallow. If you want some kind of fluffy marshmallowy type of thing, go for it. Go for a Built Puff. There's Built Boost. There's all sorts of stuff on Built.com. But Built Bar is really where it's at. The protein bars are covered in 100% chocolate. They taste like a candy bar, but they're healthy. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 17 grams of protein is about what you're gonna get. But when you go to Built.com, scroll over the products on there, it shows you the nutritional information because they're not hiding anything. They want you to see how great they are. You can have one as a meal replacement. You can take one to the gym with you. You can, just have one as a snack. You can toss out all of the candy bars that cause you so many problems and replace those in the drawer with Built Bar. And you'll get the same kind of satisfaction and knowing that you're going to get something better for you than the 240 calorie candy bar. If you're on a keto diet, it works. If you've got a nut allergy, there are plenty of options for you. So go to built.com and use the promo code LOCK15. The best part is LOCK15 works every single time. So if you want to sample some things, you don't have to go there and go crazy. Go sample. There's a sample of rocks. There's you can put a few different bars of, whatever. You can pick a few and try them. Then when you want to stock up again, use the promo code LOCK15. It works every single time for 15% off at built.com. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. How about making Locked On Now your second listen every day? What you're going to get is each side of the story from the night in the NBA. It's a great recap for you to get caught up from both perspectives. So me, from the Locked On Celtics perspective, you'll get the Locked On Nets perspective and get their takes. So you can get to see kind of what both sides are thinking when they listen to the game. It's a great way to get caught up on the night in the NBA. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts. On YouTube, it's on the Locked On NBA feed. So go check that out. 3 key stretches in this game. Boston Celtics 126-120 win this game over the Brooklyn Nets. 3 key stretches for me. End of the third, Brooklyn is up 9. Tatum comes out of the game. He goes back in quickly. They really ran Tatum. Like Tatum played 44 minutes? Let me look it up real quick here. 42 minutes, 41 and change. So they really rode him a lot. Robert Williams played 37 minutes, which is good for him. Like he can handle that workload. But anyway, end of the third quarter, Brooklyn goes up 9. Smart draws a foul. He hits 2 free throws. Tatum gets a 3-pointer and then comes down and gets fouled by Claxton, which they review and lose the review. 3 free throws there. All of a sudden, the Celtics go on that run at the end of the third quarter, cut it to a 1-point game. Brooklyn had gone up 9, their biggest lead of the game, and the Celtics end up actually shaving a point off of Brooklyn's lead. That's a huge turnaround right there, that end of third quarter run. Middle of the fourth, Peyton Pritchard comes in. Now, Peyton doesn't do a whole lot in this game overall, but some great defense, really worked hard. He only hit 1 shot, but he was a +7 in his time. He had 3 rebounds, an assist, a couple of steals. He hits this 3-pointer that triggers an 11-2 run. And that's really where the separation came. Brooklyn never caught up again. They got close, but they didn't tie it. And that pushed the lead to 8. So in the fourth quarter, now the Celtics now have their biggest lead of the game, and they're holding off. That run holds off or puts enough distance between the Celtics and the Nets to kind of let the Celtics get to the end, to the finish line. But then at the very end, the end of the fourth quarter, they put this thing away. It gets down to a 1-point game. And then it's a 9-2 run. Jaylen Brown had a 3, and then he had was a couple more free throws there. That 3-pointer was wonderful ball movement. So many great decisions in that. So Jaylen gets the ball. He's in the paint, right? He's kind of like shaking and baking. Now, I don't know if it's because his ankle, he said he felt fine, but he gives it up to Smart. A little bit of an errant pass, but Smart goes and gets it. Gets it over to Tatum. Tatum has, I forget who it was, on his back up around the free throw line. Kyrie Irving goes over to double, leaving Marcus Smart. Tatum swings it right back around to Smart. Smart, one quick swing over to Jaylen Brown. Defender closes out, little up fake, guy flies by. Jaylen just kind of, boom, lets him go, and then launches it, 3 falls. Beautiful ball movement. That was gorgeous. That's exactly what the Celtics need to do. Credit to Jaylen for recognizing, don't force this. Don't try that fadeaway. It might have fallen. It might not have. There's time on the clock. Credit to Marcus Smart. Get it over to the hot guy. Get it to your number 1 guy. Tatum, credit to Tatum. drawing, inviting the double team and giving it back up. Jaylen back into the corner, gets the ball back. These guys trust each other now. So gets the ball back, gave it up before, got it back. Patient, boom, hits the three. Really worked the entire shot clock down. And you get a wide open corner three. Perfect offense late in the game. Jaylen was fouled after that, and he's laying on the ground somewhere around center court. Jayson Tatum goes over and like grabs his arms like he's going to help him up. But instead, he's just like kind of like pumped up and saying stuff. I don't even know what he said, but he's like saying stuff. And then he picks Jaylen up and then gives him a big hug. That was such a great moment. That's such a great moment. Those two guys, the future of this franchise, if they're going to win a championship in these next few years, those are the guys. Those are the guys. And there they are. Tatum is out there putting up 54 points. Jaylen is coming back from an ankle injury, playing through pain, because it sure was painful. I'm sure it was. Playing through some pain and hitting clutch late fourth quarter shots. That moment right there should make every Celtics fan feel happy. That was awesome. That was awesome. Those moments, those three stretches are where the Celtics ended up winning this game. Individually, obviously, Tatum, this is his fourth regular season 50-point game, tying him with Larry Bird for the most 50-point games in a Celtics career in the regular season. Tatum, by the way, has one in the play-in game, which is statistical purgatory. And then he has one from the playoffs last year. So this is his sixth 40-point game as a Celtic. So Bird held the record at 4, but that's just regular season. So Tatum, what more can I say about Tatum? He was great. Robert Williams, a little bit of everything. A real rim threat, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 blocks, 2 steals. Ime, after the game, said, look, just his presence out there, keeping balls alive that he may not get credit for, altering shots if he doesn't block them, defending multiple positions. He says, Rob is the anchor of our defense. We know how important he is. Rob, I mean, flying in, like I said, 5 block shots, but just now you're aware of him. And he changes the opposing offense, even if it's Brooklyn. He changes the offense when you turn a corner, when you see a guy dribbling and he's like, where's Rob? Where is he? That hesitation changes the other team's offense. Offensively, Rob caught a couple of lobs. There was a layup earlier in the game in the first quarter where, I think it was the first quarter, Marcus Smart is dribbling up the left side. He just found Rob for an alley-oop, like a play or two before. And all of a sudden, Andre Drummond is now extraordinarily aware because Rob's now caught a couple of lobs. And Marcus Smart's dribbling down the left side. And what does Andre Drummond do? Does he go over to the ball handler? No, he sticks tight to Robert Williams because he knows if I leave this dude, that alley-oop is going up. And Marcus just keeps dribbling in and gets closer and closer and closer. Then he hits a little like short floater type of shot. Nice, easy little layup type of thing. That's 100% because of Rob. Does Robert Williams get any credit for that? Nope, because he's just standing there. But that happens 100% because Robert Williams is a threat and Andre Drummond is not leaving that threat, and it opens things up. That is what the vertical spacing does. That's what the vertical spacing is. He draws people in the middle just by being that threat up and down. And guys benefit from that. So Rob, very important part of this game. Like I said, Jaylen Brown, 21 points, 5 assists for Jaylen, which is really nice. People criticize him a lot for not passing. 5 assists, also 1 turnover in this game. So the Celtics, one of the big problems that they've had, turnovers, especially Tatum and Brown. If there's a weak spot for those guys, little loose with the ball. Tatum and Brown, not this game, 3 combined turnovers. One of Tatum's clutch buckets at the end was this layup. He kind of like left the ball out to his right and somehow got it back, like crossover dribble between, I think it was Bruce Brown and Kyrie Irving, and then he goes through Claxton for a layup. That was utter dominance. Tatum is getting to the rim at will. I'm going to go back to Tatum for a second here because the way he's playing right now, I'll just say this. This is MVP level stuff. I mean, if Jayson Tatum plays this way, and I'm not talking about just 54 points, but it's not the points, it's how he's playing. The way he's been playing lately, attacking the way he's attacking, but also still hitting shots. That's MVP level stuff. Now, I'm not expecting him to hit to 53%, but Tatum is playing like an MVP. I had to go back to Tatum because that mentioning the turnovers just got me back to that move that he made. Hey, how about some love for Al Horford? Okay, 13.7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, a block, switching onto guards again. This is Al Horford, the old head, the OG, switching onto guards. Not always, look, you're going to switch onto Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving gets by everybody. That's how it goes. But being a deterrent and being able to switch onto guards and be effective as you can be against some of these guys, but also switching onto other guys on the floor. You go from playing Kevin Durant to playing Patty Mills, and that's what they're asking Al Horford to do. And Al, how about his shooting? 3 of 6 from 3, 4 of 7 overall. I mean, Al, when you needed him to hit stuff, he hits shots. Great game from him. Marcus Smart, 14 points, 9 assists. Grant Williams didn't have a good game. I think Grant Williams, the only one I can say like had a not so great game. Everyone else was good. This win triggers a conversation with somebody in the media room where we're talking about 2 months ago, these guys couldn't get out of their own damn way. And now these guys, this team, this win makes you think, hey, wait a minute. They could do something. We went from 2 months ago, literally 2 months ago, early January, going like, this team, they might not even make the playoffs, this team. Now I'm sitting here saying, well, there's a path. There's a path for the NBA Finals. I'm going to talk about that when I come back. First, BetOnline. Maybe you want to throw some money on the Celtics odds now to win a championship before they start to become less favorable. All the latest odds, totals, player performance props, all available on betonline.net, your number one spot for all your sports betting needs. It's your best spot for your scores, podcasts, news this season, not just basketball, hockey, boxing, UFC, whatever other sport you want to watch, it's there. College basketball, we're heading into March Madness now. So head on over to betonline.net, use your mobile device if you want, learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Please gamble responsibly. So the Boston Celtics beat the Brooklyn Nets. They're just coming off a win over the Memphis Grizzlies. And these 2 wins, it's a little bit something different, right? There's a little something different with these 2 wins. This one especially. So let's look back. Let's go back through the course of the season, right? Beginning of the season, COVID, injuries, they're inconsistent. You have Jaylen, you don't have Jaylen, you don't have Jayson, all of this. So fine. They're inconsistent. They're never together. They start to make a little progress and it falls back. I think Dennis Schroeder is a problem. And so they figure out that, oh, if we minimize Dennis Schroeder, then well, maybe things will start to work out. And then in January, oh, okay, we get it. And Schroeder goes away. They bring in Derek White. They move out Josh Richardson. And now things start to fit. So the Celtics start winning in this time frame by saying, okay, we're going to play a certain way. We're going to play a certain style. So you go from inconsistent to, okay, we figured out who we are. And we're defense first, and we're moving the ball and all of that. And so they whip off all of these wins. They get themselves back into, they go from out of the play-in on one side to out of the play-in on the other side, the good side. But it's still mostly about style of play. I've written about it. I've talked about it. If the Celtics don't play a certain style, they're not going to win. Defense first, stop you from scoring, run off of those misses or those stops, steals, blocks, whatever. Move the ball, ton of ball movement, no isolation, and you have a formula there for winning. And that's going to get you into the playoffs, and it's going to give you a chance to win a series or two. And that's where I felt good about this team. Then this game happens, and Memphis happens. But this game especially. And this game was different because it wasn't just defense, let's stop you and run off of misses. Well, the Celtics did get a good advantage in fast break points. They had 21-7 fast break points. They had 18 points off of Brooklyn turnovers. They certainly did do some of that, but they also gave up 120 points. This game was won on offense. They outgunned the Brooklyn Nets. They walked into the OK Corral and they won a gunfight. They took on two of the best isolation scorers in the game and won. That's different. They did this the playoff way. They did this with a superstar doing superstar things. They did this by making shots. They did this by creating offense. They did this with isolation play from Jayson Tatum. They did this with defensively doing just enough and switching things up in the, on the fly. As Marcus Smart said, we were doing a lot of things on the fly. They decided to blitz Kevin Durant. We've never seen the Celtics blitz anybody. All season long, they haven't blitzed anybody. And all of a sudden, they're doing it. They're changing up their defense as the game is going on. So great strategy from Ime Udoka. Great execution from these guys who were making the doubles came from different places. And they recovered. They helped each other. They really did all of the things that you need to do in a playoff game, a playoff type win. This wasn't just we played our certain formula and we won. This was you won a shootout and you adjusted on the fly and you got a dominant performance from your superstar who created a bunch of his own offense and hit a bunch of shots. That is a special kind of way to win. That's the win that wins you a playoff series. And now all of a sudden, the conversation that I'm having today is, well, who the hell are these guys? Because if they play like this, and you have the way they've been playing based on their defense, and then if they can go out there and win games like this, if Tatum is going to be able to carry the team like this, again, no one expects 50-point games, but he's got them in him. This might not be the last 50-point game this month that he has. You never know. But if they can win like this, then all of a sudden they get to be a lot more dangerous. Maybe they're more dangerous than win a playoff series or two. If Tatum can do this, if he can level up like this, and Jaylen Brown's right behind him, scoring 20 some odd points, and then you've got Horford and Rob and Smart and Pritchard and White filling in gaps as needed. That's a team that's dangerous. That's a team that has a path to more than a couple of wins in the playoffs, more than a couple of series wins. That's a team that can beat anybody. The way the Celtics are playing now, the way they just beat Brooklyn, that's a team that can beat anybody. They can beat anybody. Can you do it 4 times in a series? I mean, that's the question. And I don't think this is the one-off. Like, I don't think this is just, wow, they just caught fire. This was just a special performance. So you have them, they can rely on their defense, and they know they can rely on their defense. Can they rely on Tatum? If Tatum is shooting like this, and again, drawing those double teams, inviting those double teams, if he can move the ball the way he's moved the ball, then there's a path. And I'm not ready to predict that they can make it to the NBA Finals or say that they will. But for the first time this season, I really do believe that this team has the capability of going to the NBA Finals. This team, playing the way they did against Brooklyn, that team has a chance to get to the NBA Finals. And when you look at the standings, it's right there for them. They are 4.5 games out of first. With 16 games left, you're probably not going to catch Miami. But they're 1.5 games out of second. And with 16 games left, hey, anything can happen. You never know. So the Celtics they've put enough distance. They're 4 games up on Toronto in 7th. So you feel pretty good unless, knock on wood, there's no injuries or anything like that. But fully healthy, this is a team that should be able to continue and not fall into the play-in. So you feel good about them now just making the playoffs outright. Now it's a matter of seeding. And if you have a 3-6, well, right now 6 is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'll take a series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And what's next? Who do you get after that? I don't think there's any one team. Maybe Milwaukee. Milwaukee, I would say I would pick Milwaukee outright. But Philly, I think the Celtics can match up against Philly. I think the Celtics can match up against Miami. I definitely think they can match up against the Bulls. The Celtics have a chance. They have a chance. This game against Brooklyn, I'm telling you, it's got me fired up. It's got me fired up because all of a sudden there's all of this new, like, oh my God, I didn't realize that they had this in them. And maybe they didn't realize that they had this in them, but the confidence keeps building. It's all about effort, being locked in, trusting each other. When I say locked in, they're listening to the coach. They're executing a game plan. And when the coach says, oh crap, the game plan, it's not working, we're going to adjust. They're listening. Say, okay, we're blitzing now. Fine. All right. When we blitz, here's what we're going to do. They're communicating. They're talking to each other. Trying hard is the number one thing that's going to get you wins in the NBA. And trying hard with this level of cohesion is going to get you even more wins. And then when you add the ability on top of that, that's going to get you even more wins. The Celtics, you're going to start hearing the buzz that the Celtics are going to be a team that no one wants to play. They went from 3 games, they were 18-21. 3 games under 500. They are now 39-27. They're 12 games over 500. They've won almost 60% of their games. That's insane to me. They have 16 games left. Can they win 11 of them? That's a 50-win season. That's a great season. We have to, I think, start putting that, what happened in November and December, that's way in the past. We got to move past that now. That's gone. This team, this Celtics team, playing that team back in December, this team would beat that team in December by 50. That's how good these guys are playing. As long as they stay healthy, they've got a chance. We'll talk about, I know people want to talk about the Kyrie stuff. I'll save the Kyrie stuff for tomorrow because I don't want to get into that now. I'm not spoiling this great game. I'm not spoiling that. I think this is too much fun. So have some fun. Enjoy this win because this is a beautiful, this is like the best win of the season. This is absolutely the best win of the season. So enjoy it. Drink it up. Way to go, Celtics. I'll be back tomorrow with more. I'll rewatch the game. We'll dive back into it. We'll talk more about the Kyrie, the comments. We'll do that tomorrow. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. I do appreciate those of you who have subscribed, who are watching the show on YouTube, especially if you're watching the show on YouTube. Hello. Thank you for watching the show on YouTube. Really do love that you're doing that. It's just a new thing that we've been doing here since the end of last season, and really like doing that. I appreciate you guys watching and sharing the podcast. If you are a subscriber, tell everybody, tell your friends, family, everybody to be watching and listening to the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast.